stuff, amazing, incredible, out of this world stuff happened since then. Literally. Right after I hung up that call with him, I got another call from somebody I've been looking for like forever, who came with all the business connections and opportunities I've been praying for the past, like, haven't heard from him in like a decade, and like everything I'm trying to do, that's what he's been doing for the past 10 years. So I've been looking for you. I never check my LinkedIn and social media stuff because Lindsay and Crystal and them do that. But his name popped up on my LinkedIn. Do you know him? I said, yes. And bam. And I said, God, look at that. And the first thing that always comes to my mind when stuff like that happens, your mom. You take care of my business, I take care of your business. I say all the time, those are cemented in me. That's why no matter how rough situations get, I can still stand. You ask me all the time. No matter if God told me to be there for this person, I don't care what they do, I'll be there for, because I remember that. Take care of my business, I'll take care of your business. In the past couple of weeks, I felt like I was like just not even motivated to create, write, do anything. And God said, you did everything. Just chill. Just relax this week. I feel like I'm being there. I'm just watching TV and playing the bass. And he said, okay. And then he shows up on Friday after I finish doing his work with all the answers. So I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. No truer words have ever been spoken. Take care of his business. Get yourself out the way. And I just want to say this. When he said take care of his business, he don't mean take care of his business for your ends. He means put yourself aside, die to self, forget about how you benefit, just do what I call you to do, and I'll take care of you. You know, sometimes we serve God for his benefits. Overall, that's not a bad thing. But if that's your core, that's a terrible thing. Because then your motivation is never because of pure submission to God and love for God. It's always what you think you can get out of it. Yeah. And who wants anybody around them that is good to them because they want something? Right. All right. Yes. So, I was trying to decide, should I start next week or this week? And God said, no, start this week. With the message I began sharing at the BCCPF's opening. Praise and or worship is the title. Praise and or worship. And of course, ours will be a lot more extensive. But I want to lay down a foundation. And that is this. I've heard all my life in church, for whatever it means, when praises go up, blessings come down. You've heard that, right? Yes. I got to a point in my walk, and I'm thinking if you've been around me long enough, you'll know that I don't like cliches. I don't like these religious sayings that have no explanation, reason, or power. Because if they have no reason or meaning, they have no power. Now, they may mean something to you, then they can have, like, you take care of my business, I take care of your business. That has meaning to me, so I find power in it. But some of it is just stuff you say. When God closes the door, he opens the window. Where the window? And what door did he close? And what the heck does that mean? And how do I work that in everyday life? See, the thing about walking with God that's powerful is this. If it's sayings that just make you feel better in things you don't understand, you ready? You feel better, but you still don't understand. God has a reason for everything he does. That may make you feel better for the moment. But the scripture doesn't say, My people are destroyed for not feeling better. They're destroyed for lack of knowledge. So because you don't know, you're still being destroyed, even though you got a little catchphrase that makes you live better with your situation. Am I talking? So I don't want to make you feel better with lines. So when I heard praises go up, blessings come down, I'm like, okay, I don't know what the heck that means, so I'm just going to disregard that as just a cliche that means nothing. Because for me, I'm not telling you to. If it works for you, keep saying it. How's it working for you? But for me, it didn't work because it didn't mean anything. So I went to, this when I was a younger Christian, I went to the praise and worship leader. I would hear the pastor say that all the time. I was in this church down in way down, like the Village, Manhattan, or not Village, what do you call it? Huh? Wall Street. Yeah, in the Wall Street area, right. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, right? And these kind of sayings were being said all the time. In the meantime, the church was always going through hell, financial and every other way. But praises was going up, nothing was coming down. So one day I just said, what does that mean? To the pastor privately. What exactly does that mean? Now, whenever I would ask Pastor T, I'll just say, without saying his name, questions, I could see the look on his face like, oh boy, like here he come, right? But I just want to know what that means. Now, when we were trying to be in Nation of Islam when I was young, and I started going to the meetings and sitting around with the imams and stuff, because I tried a little bit of it all. I was trying to find the truth. I wasn't born in church, no Christian. So when I started searching for spiritual truth, I went and hung out with a little bit of everybody. So I started asking them questions, and they would get frustrated or tell me, one day you would learn, and you know, you need to stop asking so many questions. What kind of teacher are you if I got to ask you questions and you're going to tell me I need to not ask questions? Isn't that what you're here for? So you just tell me just take your text for face value and don't ask no questions? And if any of you like that with me, shame on you. You're supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to investigate. You're supposed to be like the Bereans? Bereans, they said they went and studied to see that the things that Paul said was true. They went home, they listened to his message, this sounds good, and then they went home and studied their Bibles to see in the book of Acts if what he was saying was right and accurate. Well, you know, pastor always say so. If he say it and he going to hell, you going with him. You're supposed to check. So I went to pastor and I said, what does that mean? Praise goes up, blessings come down. You'll say that every week like it's scriptural. I looked for the scripture and I didn't find the scripture that said praise go up, blessings come down. I didn't even find the scripture that said praise go up. So I want to know, what does that mean? When you praise the Lord, you know, and he gave me some explanation that was kind of like saying, see, when you praise the Lord, the prayers go up. And when he blesses you, the blessings come down. It was kind of one of those kind of, okay, you just said the same thing in dissertation form. You just said the same exact words. All right? So I said, you know what? Let me go ask somebody that may know a little better. So I went to the head of praise and worship. After all, you praise and worship, you should know. What's praise and worship? First of all, help me with that. And she said to me, praise is the fast songs and worship is the slow songs. Okay. Wow. Now that was a real answer though. Praise is when you're doing the fast songs and we dancing around, and then we get slow songs, and that's when it's worship. So tempo is the deciding factor. I said, Lord, when can I leave this church? Please. Because I stayed until he told me I could leave, but like, when can I leave? Because this is the silliest crap I've ever heard in my life. Well, God spoke a word to me that became a foundation, but I didn't do a study for it until I was asked asked to come. Yes, Pastor Green, I hear you. And so I was asked to come and speak at their memorial service or their dedication. I did a real deep study on the difference between praise and worship and what it was. So let me just lay this foundation down before I get going. Some of you heard that message, and you're going to get more detail. But the first thing I heard and learned was praise is a result or the net result of the life of worship. Praise is something that is birthed. It's an emotional response to a spirit-filled life that's founded in wisdom. I mean, in worship. Wisdom too. But in worship. Worship is a lifestyle, and praise is a manifestation of that lifestyle. You're getting this, huh? I see you making notes. So that means any praise you give that's not birthed out of the worship that you have between you and God is just you saying thank you, but it's not a genuine praise. And just because you get emotional about it when you do it doesn't necessarily make it worship or praise either. Because people think they're really worshiping when they cry and they get all deep in it. But that doesn't necessarily make it worship or praise. It's an emotional experience. Let me just take it there for you. You ever watch the YouTube videos? I like to watch them sometime. And you watch the YouTube videos, and the parent, the father came home from the war, the mother, they've been away in Iraq and Iran, and they come home and they surprise their kid in the school, and whatever, and the kids get, oh, Daddy, and right away you just get all emotional. Okay, so you can't put no spiritual attachment to that. That's emotions. Are you catching that? Just because you feel like crying and you feel, oh, that's so touched, God. Okay, but yeah, that doesn't amount to worship. That amounts to emotion. It's a good thing that you feel stuff and compassion, but you can't call that worship. I feel sorry for people that don't deserve to be felt sorry for. That don't mean it's worship. It's feelings. Now, why am I making a big deal out of this? Because the body of Christ believes that feelings are tantamount to being led by the Spirit, and it's a dangerous place to be. Yeah. So have you ever tried to help somebody out of feelings of guilt or what you call compassion, and it wound up blowing up in your face? Because it wasn't God. But the feelings were real and strong. And what would Jesus do? And you start coming up with all these logical reasons of why you should help and why you should believe or why you should feel a certain way about a thing, but there's no spirit connected to it. Listen to what I'm saying. Your intentions are good, but there's no spirit attached to it. So now you are entering at your own risk. Come on. See, you're smiling over there. I'm talking to you, huh? You're trying to help. You mean well, God, I just want to help. But you wound up getting hurt by the backlash. They turned on you now. Because you were led by emotions. That don't make it godly because you feel sorry for somebody. Sympathy don't mean God's in it. It just means you felt sympathy. Wow. Come on now. I just want to talk to you a little bit. So I begin to understand when God said a lifestyle, it wasn't just a lifestyle of being a good Christian he was talking about. It was a lifestyle of being connected that he was talking about. It's a lifestyle of being in tune and hearing his voice. My sheep know my voice, and the voice of a stranger they will not follow. Now, we say strangers, he means the devil. No, because devil's not a stranger. Most Christians know who he is better than they know God. We're talking about a voice that's strange or foreign to the voice of God or the leading of God. Could be your flesh, It can be your emotions. It could be your friends. It could be the news. It could be whatever it is. People want to get all emotional about what Trump did last. Okay, let the dead bury their dead. You are in this world and not of this world. Can you please stop focusing on the madness of a human being? Don't you see the distraction in that? And he's a master of it. And I'm not for or against him. God bless him. I mean, hey, if I see all my shake his head, I won't be mad at him. Hey, do your thing, brother. You doing what you do. I can't be mad at you. You did the same thing on The Apprentice. Like, hello, like this is who you are. Like, I ain't upset with you. What's new? But my life is not going to be occupied or drawn off in emotion by his actions. It's very tantamount and important to us in this season that we are led by the Spirit. Amen. Say it. I must be led by God's Spirit. Say it again. I must be led by God's Spirit. Say it one more time. I must be led by God's Spirit. Now say, I will finish it. Come on now. We got to be careful. It's deception. It's deception. Everything to get you to look the wrong way while the enemy sneaks up on your right or your left while you focusing on that. It's designed to throw you off. Got to be focused. So a life of worship is a life of focus. I'm going to break it down scripturally. I'm going to show you it. The life of worship is a life of focus. It's a life of clarity. Jesus had a life of worship. Will we agree? Yeah. But Jesus said things like, I only say what I hear the Father saying. And I only do. When they threatened his life, he said, no man take my life, but when the time comes, the Father I give it to the Father. He had this ability to know in the midst of everything going on around him who he was and where he was supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Say, me too. Right? Yes. See, we love saying the works that he did, we should do also. So right away we think of miracles and healing and all that. Well, what about just hearing the Father's voice and doing what the Father says? Yeah. You got the Me Too movement. Let's hashtag it right here. That's right. You understand what I'm saying? Listen, he said the works that I do, you should do. Well, he said I don't follow the voice of a stranger, then neither do I. But we can have that. Religion doesn't tell us we can have that. But we're supposed to have that. We're supposed to be those instruments. We're the oracles. We hear the voice of God, and we obey that voice. And if we do, we win at everything. So when God is saying to me, be still, don't be busy this week. But God, there's so many things I need to do. So many people I need to call. So many things I feel like I'm putting off and not taking care of. And he goes, don't do that this week. Wow. Is that hard for us? Right? But let's think about it. Let's think about it. I didn't plan to go here, but let me just put it out there. But then what's our Sabbath day then? Correct. Come on, Pastor. What is the day that we don't work and we don't do nothing and we just eat what was stored on this day and it lasts us for the next? Which day is our Sabbath? Because we don't have none. We work every day. We work on the Sabbath day that we call Sunday our Sabbath. We work. Okay, I got to leave. I got to go to church. I leave church. I got to go to work. So there's no Sabbath anymore. Now I'm not pushing the religion of Sabbath. What I'm trying to say is, so when does God get to say those 2 days that he told them you don't work? You gather up on Friday and you don't work anymore or collect anymore to Monday or however they did it. What was it? Was it right? Friday they don't work? Friday and Saturday. Sunday they worked. So by Sunday, Friday, you don't not working anymore. You don't do nothing all day Saturday. And then Sunday they will go back to work. Now, so that means whatever they gathered up in the jars of manna, they had to gather up what they needed on Friday. And that had to cover them all the way to Sunday. And when they started collecting on Saturday, it would get filled with worms and stuff and bugs, and they couldn't eat it. Because God said, now you're working on the days, are you listening? Oh, yes. That I'm supposed to work. Yay. Hallelujah. Woo. Okay. Thank you, Lord. So where's our Sabbath? Where's the day that we stop working and we let God do his thing? It's been stripped from us. So when God says to me, don't do anything for a whole week, and I'm sitting there like, okay, it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing? And I go in there and go in the office and turn on my stuff and sit there and I'm just blank. So I'm sitting there picking up my bass and playing my bass and playing the drums. Okay, I need to do some work. No, you just do that. This don't feel right. He said, when the last time you had a Sabbath? We're going to get them all in 1 week because you ain't had one. You haven't sat still to let me do anything for a long time. You confess I put it in the hands of the Lord, but then you all in my hands. Organizing and structuring and showing me how I need to do it. So when he said the works that I do, you should do also. And he said praise comes from a lifestyle of worship. God began to show me worship is a surrendered life. It's a submitted life. It's not the emotional routine you go through on Sunday in church. You with me? How many say I need to get my worship in check? It's busyness. And you ain't going to burn in hell. God ain't mad at you, but you robbing yourself. Or the devil's robbing you. So now, where's our still day? Does any of us in here have a still day? Yes. You have one? Which day is that?
Sunday. As soon as I get home from church, nothing.
Okay.
And then partially Mondays.
Okay. That's your still day. So she said, you got one. Yes. Amen. You try to do that Sunday evening?
After we leave.
You try.
I try.
Yeah. Not usually because you're running here, there, and this person got an event, and this thing got to go here, and it ain't no
Some
still.
Sundays, right?
Right? Yeah. So, yeah, you running out the door as fast as you can to get to the next event. But you follow what I'm saying? That's not condemnation. I'm just showing how we've been tricked. We don't have that day that we just say, God, I'm just going to chill out and just enjoy the life that you gave me. Well, worship is robbed then. We worshiping God in between events. I worship the Lord in my car on your way to something. I didn't plan to stay on it this long, but am I helping you? So God began to say to me, praise has to come out of a lifestyle of worship. And worship is a submitted life. It's not the fast or the slow song. It's the submitted life. The sanctified life. The set apart life. The time in your life, literally he made me not do anything. I was trying to and just couldn't find the motivation to do it. Amen. And I'm going to tell you, I don't have writer's block. I don't even know what that means. Never. But this week it's like I'm sitting and I'm playing. I'm like, okay, oh, this is dope. I need to record this. Don't you go near that computer. But I need to record this. Record it on your little phone and put it away. I want to track this. You're not tracking nothing. And I would go to the computer and it's like almost I couldn't remember how to do stuff. I do it every day. It's like, you ever had that happen to you? It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? All right, let me stop fighting this. This is just not working. Wow. Then on Friday, I get the opportunity to minister. This is what I want you to do this week. I want you to be still. So I was quiet enough that when that moment came, I could hear what I needed to hear to do what God needed me to do. to change somebody's life in a 25, 30-minute conversation. Amen. So remember last week we talked about the spirit of what? No, the one that you said spoke to you. Clutter, busyness, all that stuff designed to block you out of worship, to keep you in a place that even when you're trying to worship, you're worshiping through clutter. You're sitting there trying to worship God, to do praise and worship, and you cluttered about how you're going to do praise and worship while you're worshiping. Come on. This kind of stuff is so key to your success. So as I now begin to break down these scriptures and show you the definition of worship, I want you to understand that your first priority in worship is stillness before God. That's your first priority. And as I'm speaking, I know your spirits are being touched. I can feel it. See, I'm in that dope role. I'm in that role right now. I can feel the presence of the room. I know your spirits are being ministered to. I can feel it, especially on you, sis. You are eating right there. I can feel your spirit taking it in because God have this word just for you today. So let me tell you, treat your quietness, that peace before God, as the most important thing in your life. Don't let the enemy rob you of that. He will do everything he can to keep you from being quiet. And noisy people, they hear things and they think it's God, and 9 times out of 10 it's not. It's a facsimile. You know, well, the Lord told me such and such and such, and then when I begin to challenge the spirit of it, you find out it's demonic. Because, you know, Satan quotes scriptures to you too. Ooh, it got quiet up in here. He did to Jesus. He said, cast yourself down from this mountain, for it is written. He quoted the word. And watch this, and he quoted it in factual statement. His statement was factual. He'll lift you up lest you dash your foot against a stone. So it was intellectually factual, but it was spiritually misaligned. And church people say, well, makes sense to me. That's why I tell people all the time, I didn't mean to go here, but I'm going to do it. When you'll come to me and you start telling me, well, I believe the Lord is telling me to do this, and I challenge you. Some of you, I challenge you straight out. I like I'm against it. And you'll think that I'm against it, but I'm really trying to see your conviction. Because people will tell me they believe it's God, and I'll say, well, what about this? And they go, well, maybe it wasn't God. Okay, so there we go. So now we clear, okay? You don't know what you're standing on. Because if it was God, you would know. But here's where I start to question you, smirking, because you know, right? But here's where I start to get you, right? When you start to say, I know it's God. Why? And then you start, because, you know, I was down here in the store and I saw this man and I said this, and I was praying that, and like he said exactly what I was praying. Okay, Satan heard your prayer, so I'm not impressed by that. But you can explain it, and you can explain it too clearly and with too much detail. And when you do that, I say, it's not God. Right, because you explain it too much. You can logically break it down factual. Jump off this mountain, for it is written, he will lift you up lest you dash your foot against a stone. You're breaking down the logics of it. You're breaking down the to and fro's of it. You're telling me exactly how it should work in the natural. And right away I go, this is not God. And you get mad at me. This ain't God. Why? Because when it's God, you go, I can't explain it. I can't, it don't make no sense to me. My human emotions are scared to death. But I just know. That's the best I can tell you. Yeah. I just know. I just know. Okay? We got something to work with. Now we're going to pray that you know better and clearer. But if you can intellectually break it down to your current status, chances are it's not God. Chances are it's not God. Well, I prayed to God, and I said, well, the place I'm supposed to be when I walk in, just let somebody be standing at the door with a flower in their coat. And I went there, and but Satan hears all of that. And not only that, I get real concerned with those kind of so-called praise reports. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, this is going to bother some church folk, but it's true. I say all the time, so that's a sign, right? You ask for a sign, yeah, and God showed the sign, yeah. And then you ask for this sign, God showed that sign, yeah, okay. Then Jesus didn't understand that when he said a wicked and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and none shall be given to him, saying that of the prophet Jonah. So in other words, Jesus was saying signs are for the wicked and adulterous generation, yet God speaks to you through signs. I have a concern. See, I tell you, get quiet when you say stuff like this to church folk. You get quiet. Faces got tight and everything. Keep looking for signs. Jesus said that. If you got a red letter Bible, it's in red. You're supposed to be led by the Spirit, not by signs. Let me tell you why that's so deep. God, I didn't plan to go to all these places, but this is the foundation. And are we doing okay? So Paul and Barnabas are walking around, sharing the gospel of the Lord. And there's a woman going in front of them. These are the men of God. Come to show us the way. Hear ye them. That's all the signs you need. She's prophesying, and not only is she prophesying, she's leading the way and opening the doors. In other words, she's following them on their Instagram account and getting them followers. She bigging them up, and she got all the followers, and she bringing them in. She getting them props. They get more followers now because of her. She's crucial. You got to understand, she is the witch prophetess of that area. She is the voice. All the leaders of that town go to her for prophecy. So if she validates you, your profile's followers jump drastically. And so she's walking around doing that. And after a few days, Paul's spirit is grieved. And he recognizes, he let her do it for 3 days. This is good. She's doing promotion and marketing. She's doing email blasts and everything. She's hooking us up. But on day 3, Paul's spirit was grieved. And he looked out and he cast the witchcraft spirit of divination out of her, and she couldn't prophesy anymore. So that means the followers, done. And then the leaders of the town came after them because, wait, we made money off of her. She prophesied for us. You messed up our cash cow. But they had to ignore the signs which were profiting them and hear the Spirit. They had to not compromise anymore and allow a witch to lead them around. I've heard a joke said one time in the shoe. They said most pastors would put up in the thing and made her the prophet of the church and the head deaconess and everything else, and gave her a choice seat in the church because she prophesied right. Yeah, but from what spirit? So I asked God one time. Okay, she's going around, she's prophesying, she's helping. She's saying this. You said they're not for you, against you, they're for you. Why did you have them shut her down? And, because I ask questions. And one thing I say, unlike pastors, God don't get mad when I ask him a bunch of questions. He don't. I said, why would you shut her down? She was serving a purpose. God said, okay. So if they allowed her to represent them representing Christ, when she brought the next warlock into town and walked them around, now they got all the followers. Or if she decided to stand up and say, forget what these guys said, listen to this one. Shut it down. You don't follow signs. You don't follow the word of God because it was spoken over you and it ministers to what you wanted to hear or what you wanted to feel, or it felt just right to the thing you needed to hear at that moment. That's not where this house needs to be. I can't tell other people what to do in their house. I'm telling you, in this house, we don't follow spirits that speak to us. We don't have itching ears, heaping unto ourselves, teachers that know not what they teach or wherefore they affirm. You need to know that you're hearing God. And if you're not, then you need to work on it. It's called a relationship. Yeah. So, the thing that blew my mind about worship and really caught me off guard was I decided to do a study of worship. And I decided to do a study of worship, of course, based on the Bible. Now, of course, my thinking and my belief was that if I'm going to find worship in the Bible, I'm going to find worship in the Bible in chapter 1. Genesis has got to be right from the beginning. So I went to do a study. And to my surprise and amazement, it did not show up until Genesis 22. I'm like, a lot of stuff happened between Genesis 1 and 22 that the word worship never showed itself. I want you to go to Genesis 22 for me, please. And here we go. And I want you to be excited about this because this is going to be the revelation that changes things. Let me know when you're there. And Abraham said unto his young men, abide here, ye with the donkey, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took wood of the burnt offerings, and he laid it upon Isaac his son, and he went and he took fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both together. And Isaac spake unto the father, said, Father, my father, he said, Here, my son. He said unto him, Behold, I see fire, and I see wood. But where is the lamb for the burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb and a burnt offering. So they both went together. And they came to the place where God had told them of, and Abraham built an altar there, and he laid wood on the altar, and he bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar in the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. And the angel of the Lord called out to him in heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham, Abraham! And he said, Here am I. And he said, Lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do anything unto him. For I know that you fear the Lord, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thy only son, from me. And Abraham lifted his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in the thicket with his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up as a burnt offering instead of his son. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah-Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount the Lord shall be seen. That's the Lord. Jehovah-Jireh is the Lord who provides, the Lord my provider. So let's go to this real quick. It's a good reading, huh? But this is the first time you see the word worship in the Bible. Yeah. The very first time it shows up. So it hit me, if this is the first time it showed up in this place and in this significance, I needed to take a good look at that, being your pastor in the way I am. So I went and looked up the word worship. It's a Hebrew word pronounced shakar. It's to prostrate. It's in homage to, royalty to, or God. It's to crouch down or to fall flat and humbly beseech. I always try to pronounce this word, obeisance. I know the meaning of it, but I don't pronounce it right. Is that how it's pronounced? Obeisance? Right, so thank you, because I've always read that word and never pronounced it right. To do reverence, to stoop, to worship. So let me just say this to you, and let's just establish this. So here's a word here called worship, and here's the first time you see the word worship in the Bible. And if you notice, it's not a fast song or a slow song. There's no song involved. It's an act involved. It's an act involved that demanded that he give up something that was the most precious thing in the world to him. Hold up, I'm breaking down worship. Yeah. The first time you see the word worship is in Genesis 22. So let me make sure you get this. So we're with Abraham now. We're not with Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel and all of this stuff. So that means even when Cain and Abel were offering, the word worship don't show up. Here's where it shows up. In the 22nd verse, where a man is asked to give the most precious thing in the world to him back to God. So I submit to you, worship is an act of surrender, not an act of emotions and singing and dancing. Now, when I read this word and the definition of surrender, shakar, it said to lay on your face on the floor, flat, prostrate. What's that word again? With the O? Obeisance. All right? Out. Now, God showed me something with that. He said, when police arrest you and they sense you dangerous, what do they say? Get on the ground. Flat on the ground. Why? Do you know why? It's a position where you no longer have control. They don't say lay on your stomach, on your back. They say lay on your stomach, flat out, because you can't move, and whatever's happening around you, you can't even control. So God is saying worship is the act of you willfully putting yourself in a position where you have no control. See, we try to worship God as we do what we do. Yeah. And then we try to get God involved with what we do. And then we say, I'm just worshiping the Lord as I'm driving in the car trying to get God to do what I need him or want him to do. And he's saying, no, worship requires you surrendering your abilities totally. Who is quiet? On your face, on the ground. Hands behind your head. Why is that equivalent to the surrender of his son? You understand, he believed for this child for 21 years. He finally gets him, and then God says, now this is what I need you to do. Now, I'm not God in a long shot, but I think me and him are pretty cool. I try to understand what's going on in Daddy's mind when he does this stuff. And I think I got a pretty understandable explanation. So see if you'll bear with me on this. From the human thing, I know we can get deep in spirit, but Abraham was a man. God said, you're going to have the child. He said, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. I'm too old. My wife's too old. We don't have kids. That's not going to happen. 12 years into this back and forth with God. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I can't. I can do it. No, you can't. Yes, I can. I'm old. Yeah, I can do it. No, you can't. Come on. This has went on for 12 years. Abraham comes up with this great idea. His hands are not behind him. He's still controlling everything. It's in front of him. He's talking to God. He's serving God, but he ain't in the place of worship yet. He's walking with God. He's making sacrifices to God, but he ain't a worshiper yet. You don't want to have this conversation. He's not a worshiper yet. He's a servant. He loves the Lord. He keeps the rituals, but he's not a worshiper yet. He go to church. He pays his tithes. Come on, he pays his tithes. Abraham met Melchizedek and gave him a tenth. Abraham is the first place that's recorded in the Bible of a tither. He was so blessed, he said, I don't even want your food. I don't want nothing, just the food my men ate. Don't pay me. Let no man say he made me rich but Almighty God. This is the man who walked with God, but he was not yet a worshiper. because he still could control. He still wasn't surrendered. And here's how you prove it. Because 12 years in, after going back and forth with God, I can make it work. You're going to have a baby. Yeah, I know, but I don't think we can. Yes, you can. We can. Yes, you can. We can. All right. And so he said, you know what? Okay, God, I think I know what you're talking about. And I'm going to help you out. I'm going to take my handmaiden, because I know my wife's barren. So I'm going to take this fine young thing here who work for my wife, and I'm going to knock her up. And that's the one you're going to use. No. Am I wrong? Let's see, because I try, I don't like, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, I try not to like make up stuff in people's personalities when I read the Bible. I try to look at, let's see if he has a history of that. I'm going to send you, and I'm going to give you his child, and your seed. And he said, nah, I'm going to take Lot with me, and Lot's going to be my seed. How about that? So you see, he has this history of telling God how it goes. You see, he has this history of helping God out. Let Lot be my seed. You see, he got a history of making his own plan and slowing down or diverting the move of God in his life. Blessing you, Brother Merle? Yes, sir. All right. So, because we know we can be there so many times. If you know what I'm talking about, say, yes, sir, like he did. Yes, sir. I'm here you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. So he's been busy telling God what to do and all in God's business for a long time. Long time. So now, 12 years later, he has this boy that with the slave woman. And then God comes to him again. Your wife's going to have a baby. No, she can't. Yes, she can. No, she can't. Yes, she can. No, she can't. And that goes on for another, I think, 11 years, because by the time she gets pregnant with Isaac, Ishmael is 12 or 11, somewhere in that age range. That's why I said 21 years. Not 21 years, well, that's how when God decided to move it. When God speaks it, you got to wait on his time. No, you had this word, kept going against God and trying to tell God how it need to go. So, you listening to me? You see the difference. My life is riddled with it, so I know it. The difference when God's promise, are you listening? Because we talked about this a week or 2 ago. God's promise, are you listening? When God's promise has to take a back seat to your impatience. You wasn't ready for me today. You wasn't ready. You see what happens now when the promise of God has to take second place to your impatience, to your self-motivation, to your looking at signs and your inability to be quiet and really worship. Should I wait in a couple of weeks before I did this message? Or are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. I'm going to help you. So, and me too, I'm guilty of this. So listen, oh my God. So I'm teaching you out of, like I said, out of the revelations that I've come to. But you know what? If God did it for Abraham when he was almost 100, he can do it for us. Ain't none of us that old, so let's just make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it now. I'll take it. I'll take it now. Hey, you want to die without it ever? I'm old now. I don't care. I'll take it now. How many say, I'll take the prosperity right now? So now Abraham's at the place that he finally got quiet. God finally put him to sleep, walked through the burnt offerings, remember? For him, because God was like, I can't even have you involved. I just got to knock you out. So God put him to sleep, walked through the burnt offerings for him, and then his wife got pregnant. Finally, he got still enough, 20-something years later, that God was able to move. Would you think God didn't know that Abraham still had the ability in him to say, okay, well, now that Isaac is born, here's what we want to do. To your glory, hallelujah. We're going to do some stuff. So me and Isaac talk, and we're going to set up a business, and we're going to, this, that, because we know what you want, God. And God's like, okay, see, I already know you still a control freak that want to try to tell me what to do. So now I'm going to introduce you to a new word. It's called worship. I'm going to put a new word in the biblical vocabulary. Generations later. It's called worship. And here's how it works. You lay flat on your face. Assume the position. You surrender to me the very vision that you believed me for and be willing to give it up. And how deep is it that God didn't say, and I'm going to take your son and I'm going to kill him. He said, no, you going to kill him. I'm asking you to do it. I'm asking you to lay down and give up the life of the very thing you've been believing me for. That's worship. I'm just trying to help God get this done. I didn't ask you to help. Assume the position. On your face. Lay down. Flat. All control to me. That's your Sabbath. Just be still. Just be still. Take your input out of it. Take your opinion out of it. Take your point of view out of it. Just be still. Somebody say, I receive it, Lord. Or just talk to him right now. Just talk to him. Take a minute and talk to him and let him know you receive it. Just take a minute and let him know you receive it. Let him know you receive it. Let him know you want it. Let him know, Father, my mind's a busy bee. Help me. I receive it. I receive it. I receive it. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Amen. You learned something? We're going to keep going. We got a little few more minutes. So he talked about this root of laying down and bowing. All control gone from you. You trust in God's hands. I don't know about you, but I want that more than I want air right now. So, it's surrender. It's prostration, it's laying yourself down, it's removing yourself from the mix. That's the first iteration of the word worship that we see in the Old Testament. So I said, okay, Father, I like that. What about the New Testament? And so, if you go with me to Matthew chapter 2, I want to see if it translated from Hebrew to the same in Greek. For those you don't know, Old Testament was written in Hebrew, New Testament is written in Greek. How many of you appreciate the fact that I study for y'all? Yes. Amen. So let's go there. Thank you, Lord, for Pastor Green. Listen, that man, chapter 2. Let's go to chapter 2 first. Matthew chapter 2, yes. Starting at verse 1. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came three wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen the star in the east and are come to worship. So now we see worship again in the New Testament. And again, these are men who traveled far to come to worship. Now here's where we can get stuff messed up again, because we think about the wise men and they brought frankincense, myrrh, and so worship is bringing gifts in the minds of people. But they said we came to worship the child. Now this word in the New Testament, worship, of course, is not the same. Now this is a really weird word to pronounce. proskuneo, somewhere in that word area. The Greek number for it is 4352, Mike, if you're looking it up. Because I know Mike looks up the words. Now watch this, because this word is a different word, but it has a different type of approach to it. Ready? It says, to kiss like a dog licking his master's hand. To kiss, dogs don't kiss with lips. They don't have lips. A dog kisses you by licking your hand or licking your face. Dog gets excited, he licks your face. So he didn't even say to kiss like a person. It says to come and so excited to lick. That's still a place of submission, though. This is a place where you put yourself in. I don't know if you got that. Let me explain it. Let me see if you got that. These men, because they didn't speak English, so they knew what their words meant. They said, we have come to find out who the king of the Jews is so we can lick his hand like a dog. Are we good now? They came with the intention. Abraham came to that mountain with the intention to lay himself down powerless and prostrate before God. These three wise men, let's make sure we understand who we're talking about, please. These are prestigious people. These are the people that were appointed by the king and stuff. These are the people who gave counsel to all of Israel and anyone who ruled therein. These are the big dogs. They the holy rollers. They're saying, we as the magi of the time have come to find this child so we can get down on our knees and lick his hand. So once again, worship is putting yourself in a place that you're surrendering. So if praise is not emanating from that, it's not praise. It's song singing. Christian entertainment. And that's what people come to church for, to be entertained. Yeah, I go to church, you know, I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. I want to be entertained. Say something exciting. When we going to get to do the dance? Singing, rapping, miming, all that stuff. Christian theater. On his word time, sometimes pastor get up there and say 3 little stupid things and everybody go home. Yeah, but that choir. Whoo! Right? Because people don't want to be taught, they want to be entertained. People don't want to learn. They want to be, just feed me with something that makes me feel good. Tell me a couple of lines. Prophesy over me something just to make me feel good for the week. So, again, you see that worship becomes a thing where people come to surrender themselves, their authority, their power, their position, their prestige, and everything they are, for these mighty men to come and say, we just want to lick his hand. Kiss his hand like a dog. We just want to get down on our faces and just, with everything we have, surrender all our grace. So the gifts are just the gifts. But the worship was the position they put themselves in, to prostrate themselves before the King of the Jews. That's going to be it for today. We're going to pick it up next week. Stand with me. That's enough for you to think on. So, as we come before God in this season to worship, let us understand that what we are saying we're coming to do is to totally lay self down. Totally deny self-reasoning and logic. Totally surrender all the dreams and visions God gave us on the altar to be slaughtered, enslaved at our own hands. No, God gave me this dream. I know. Okay, well, see, but that's why nothing is happening. And when it does happen, Satan gets right in it and messes it up. Well, God had a plan. No, God had nothing to do with it. That's your Ishmael. If God's in it, ain't it? The devil's hand ain't in it. Don't give me that mess. I know it. I've done both. I've done the help God thing, and I've done the let God do it thing. And when God does it and nobody gets it and messes it up, and nothing goes wrong. That's your Ishmael. That's what you birthed prematurely. And then keep trying to offer it to God and don't understand why God won't bless it. Well, I guess God had a plan and he needed me to go to. No, that's your Ishmael. God don't want nothing to do with that. That's yours. He's going to love you and he's going to look out for you with it because it's your choice. God didn't hate Ishmael. He didn't kill Ishmael. But he said he ain't in part of the inheritance, though. My seed ain't going to come through that. And if I could just be brief and say, and the impatience of Ishmael has caused Israel to this day. How many of you don't know what I'm talking about? Isaac is the father of the Jewish nation. Ishmael is the father of the Muslim nation. Big brother been hating little brother to this day. Same father. They'll say Abraham is our father. They'll say it, but they won't acknowledge that Isaac is their brother. They hate him because in that culture, the blessing of the father and an inheritance of the father belongs to the firstborn child, the firstborn male, which legally is Ishmael. And Ishmael don't like the fact that it went to Isaac, the 12-year younger brother. So to this day, they despise him. If you see what they fight over, that one little piece of land, if you see how much of that land belongs to the Muslims, and they will kill for a piece of land that's about the size of a speck of a dot on my finger compared to the land they have, because they don't want Isaac having what belongs to Abraham daddy. It belongs to me. To this day, all these wars and 9/11, all this stuff, Abraham's impatience. Abraham's impatience. How many 9/11s you guys got under your belt? I know I had a few. Just being impatient, trying to push my will on God, trying to tell God what's best for the system, because I know. Okay, I know you told me you want me to do it, God, so I got it. I'll call you and tell you how to help me out. None of y'all do that, though, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So here's the season that we're in. We need to be prostrate, flat on the floor. I don't want to birth another Ishmael, waging war against my Isaacs. Father, we come before you today and we just surrender to you the fullness of our heart. Oh my God, this is just so much. I'm honored by the way you've been showing your honor to me in these past couple of weeks and the things you've been doing and the way you've been using me. But I know it's because I've made the decision to get prostrate before you. Lord, help me stay there. Help us get there. Help us stay there. Help us learn to say, even all the dreams and visions we gave you, we bind them and we put them on the altar. We take the knife and we're ready to do what needs to be done, because we will not let any blessing or any direction or any vision you give us become the hindrance between you and I having a relationship. So from this day forward, we're committed to surrender. We're committed to being prostrate before you. We committed to bowing before you and kissing your hand, licking your hand like a dog, and putting all our pride aside if that's what it takes. You must win. You must increase, we must decrease. We decide it, we accept it, and we do it willfully in Jesus' name. Amen.